Can y'all tell us a little bit about what Townes Van Zandt meant to the Flatlanders?
Joe, tell them about meeting Townes, why don't you?
Funny thing, I actually picked Townes up hitchhiking into Lubbock. He had come from San Francisco where he had recorded his first album, and he was hitchhiking in Lubbock, and I was driving around the outskirts in an old car just out for a drive, and he was hitchhiking down the highway. And I picked him up and took him to the other side of Lubbock where I figured he'd get a ride. And we had just a little talk, and he told me about recording this album in San Francisco, and he was on his way back to Houston. And when we got to the other side of town, he reaches in his backpack, and I look in there, and there's no clothes in there. There's just about 10 albums of his first album. And he reaches in and gets me one and gives it to me. And, you know, I had never heard of him or anything. This was late 60s, probably early 70s. And that night, I took it over to Jimmy's house, and we opened it up, and they just played it, every track, just played it over and over. And it was kind of like, from then on, Townes was kind of part of the Flatlanders. Yeah, we ran into each other many times over the years, but that was an amazing time, just picking up somebody who would influence your life, just out on the Clovis Highway.
Yeah. We had Joe and I up to that point, we were fans of each other, but we really didn't know each other very well. We just knew each other from gigs, and we both went to hear each other play in these little old dumps in Lubbock, the only gigs we could get. This was way back. This is really mid-60s. That night, after Joe brought that record over, that's when Joe and I started hanging out together all the time. Mm-hmm. So it was real, in a real important way, Townes was sort of the beginning. And Joe has said many times, Townes was the patron saint of the Flatlanders.